It is as instantly recognizable as any college campus anywhere. But the team that visits Notre Dame today has more than its own share of storied football history.
It's special to play at the University of Oklahoma. You have a lot to play for, not just your teammates, your family, but also the tradition of the university.
I don't know if you can describe how different, Notre Dame is, or to play for Notre Dame. It's something that you have to really experience for yourself.
Playing for Oklahoma means everything, basically. It means tradition. It means family.
The Notre Dame tradition motivates me all the time. Tradition of winning, family, and hard work.
Two teams bound by the legends of their pasts, where titles and all those glorious races through time have made them both iconic symbols of the game.
The Sooners, Oklahoma,
Crimson and cream.
Fighting Irish,
blue and gold.
South Bend, Indiana.
And nearly a year after the Irish stayed perfect in Norman, it's time to protect their own turf, their own legacy, in the latest tale to be told of Notre Dame and Oklahoma.
It's a tradition about fighting for what you believe in and fighting to just persevere. If we can go in there, beat Notre Dame, it can definitely lead this team to greater things.
You gotta play Notre Dame football. That's hard, fast, and coming out strong. You show people you're worth talking about.
No stranger to big-time opponents and star-studded clashes is sold-out Notre Dame Stadium, where 80,000 plus are ready for the biggest test of the season to date. And a week after another grinded-out winning battle against Michigan State, Irish head coach Brian Kelly braces for the deep talent and team speed of Oklahoma, a program that Sooner head coach Bob Stoops has taken to the national title game 4 times in his 14 seasons, winning it all once. Today, all that tradition and all that pride from both teams on the line in a game that will do a lot to shape the seasons of both. And when you add up the numbers, they are still hard to believe. Between the two programs alone, 18 national championships to go along with 12 Heisman Trophy winners. And today, the objective is to stay relevant in this year's hunt for the national championship. Well, it is Notre Dame and it is Oklahoma. Not a lot more needs to be said. The crowd is ready, and so are we. Kickoff coming your way in just a few moments, but first we go down to the field, and Liam McHugh for the U.S. Bank. NBC.
You can win against Oklahoma. It is going to give you a lot of momentum, a lot of swagger, honestly.
Playing Notre Dame and how they came in and beat us, it brings a spark to this team.
A win would just get us back into the light where we should be in the first place.
It's going to be a great test to see how we compete against one of the greatest teams.
A win like this just demonstrates that we really are for real.
The 234th consecutive sellout at Notre Dame Stadium has the 14th ranked Sooners of Oklahoma visiting the 22nd ranked Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, and out come the Irish. Notre Dame working on a 10-game home winning streak, as Brian Kelly and the Irish are home for the second straight week after getting by Michigan State 17-13 a week ago. And there is Big Louis Nix, and he and the Irish defense into a test today from Oklahoma, maybe the fastest and deepest team they'll face all year. Oklahoma at 3-0 and visiting Notre Dame for the first time in 14 years. Big Blake Bell comes out, the starting quarterback for Oklahoma, after a huge game last week, or a couple of weeks ago, against Tulsa. And Bob Stoops, speaking of 14 years ago, he was the coach at Oklahoma. He hopes for a different outcome today for his Sooners. As we welcome you to this great atmosphere, and Mike Mayock won the toss, elected to defer, so Notre Dame will get the ball first. See it green here at Notre Dame Stadium today, as that has been the theme all week. George Atkinson back deep at his goal line for the Irish. As the Sooners get ready to put it in play, Nick Hodgson, the kickoff specialist, will do the honors. And the Oklahoma-Notre Dame series renewed. It's a line drive kick that Atkinson watches roll back beyond the end zone. Let's take a look at the Notre Dame offense, presented by Adidas.
Tommy Reese, Lake Bluff, Illinois. When I was little, I was a ball boy for the Chicago Bears.
I'm Christian Lombard from Palatine, Illinois, and Nick Martin is obsessed with John Wayne.
Tavares Daniels, Vernon Hills, Illinois, and TJ Jones is my godbrother.
All right, so the Irish beginning at their own 25. Tommy Reese, after passing for 300+ yards in the first 3 games, back down to earth last week, just 14 of 34. As the Irish look to establish a bit of a running game this week. The fake is to Amir Carlisle, and right away, Reese's first pass incomplete, intended for Tavares Daniels.
Good coverage that time by Zach Sanchez. Remember last week, Danny, against Michigan State, that's kind of what we saw all game long. Michigan State pack in the box against the run, forcing Notre Dame to throw the ball vertically.
So George Atkinson is behind Reese right now. As Brian Kelly told us that last week, Reese did miss some receivers, some guys that were open with potential scoring opportunities, as Atkinson gets his carry. And that'll bring up 3rd down.
Frank Shannon, the inside linebacker, just blew that up. Real good read and quickness. Watch the inside linebacker come downhill. Bang! Point of attack. That's a great hit by Shannon. They've gone to a 3-3 front because I believe the style of play in the Big 12, they've gotten smaller and quicker with more defensive backs on the field.
So 3rd down and 7 for the Irish. And Reese with some pressure is nailed, and it's out of his hands, and romping to the goal line is Corey Nelson for the touchdown.
Left side, Zach Martin and Chris Watt with 75 starts between them on the left side are both going to block inside, and you're going to get pressure coming from the outside. Neither of them see the pressure. That's the outside linebacker coming down, Eric Stryker. Big hit, ball comes loose. First big play of the game, Oklahoma.
And Corey Nelson, right place, right time in the opening seconds of the game. The Sooners getting ready to take a 7-0 lead as Michael Honeycutt blasts it through. So what a start for the 14th ranked Oklahoma Sooners. Tommy Reese in the offense talking things over. But Nelson, with a hit by Stryker, takes it in for the go-ahead score. Notre Dame football is brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Always remember, 21 means 21. By Liberty Mutual Insurance Responsibility. What's your policy? By the Discover It card. It's a game changer. And by Sprint. Some of the images and leading up to this Saturday game is Blake Bell getting his very first look at Notre Dame Stadium. And it did not take Corey Nelson long. 45 seconds into the game, 24-yard interception return after Tommy Reese was hit by Eric Stryker.
Yeah, on that particular play, it's 3rd down. They're going to bring pressure off the backside. Now, you either have to fan this thing outside and get 3 on these 3, or you have to hit the tight end hot. Notre Dame does neither. And you can see off the edge, Stryker comes untouched. The left tackle, Zach Martin, he either has to bump it out or you've got to hit a hot route. If neither happens, if you don't do either, bad things happen. And a great job by Oklahoma.
And that will make the defensive coordinator for Oklahoma, Mike Stoops, happy in his second year back at Oklahoma after serving as the head coach of Arizona for 8 years. The Stoops brothers for Oklahoma here has 7-0 lead. Just like that. So Atkinson waits back again as Hodgson kicks it his way. Another low kick. And this time Atkinson will have a chance on the return. Across the 30 to about the 33-yard line, and that is where Notre Dame will try again. Let's take a look at the Sooner defense, brought to you by Adidas.
Charles Tapper, Baltimore, Maryland, and the defensive line is not just good at football, we also good at basketball too.
Corey Nelson, Dallas, Texas, and as a linebacking core, our motto is embrace your dreams and embrace each other.
Aaron Colvin, Owasso, Oklahoma, and I still love kid cartoon movies.
Reese goes to the air, and this one is intercepted. Frank Shannon has the deflection. And he's still going down the sidelines as they call him out. Wow. But how about that? Tommy Reese with 2 interceptions, and we're just barely a minute into the game.
Three plays, 2 picks. He's looking for the slant route from the outside to Tommy Reese's left side. He's looking to throw slant. It's man coverage. It comes off the hands. Really good job by Aaron Colvin, who's an NFL quality corner. And you can see T.J. Jones coming in behind. The drive on the football, the tip. 3 attempts so far, 2 picks for Oklahoma.
Couldn't have started in a worse way for Notre Dame and Tommy Reese. As Blake Bell, 6'6", 252 pounds, comes out of the shotgun and swoops it to the near side, finding his receiver, and that is Jalen Saunders for a gain of 6. Blake Bell earned the start this week with his performance 2 weeks ago against Tulsa. He was the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week with 413 yards passing, 4 of them for touchdowns. Better known as the Belldozer in those short yardage situations the last couple of years for Oklahoma. And this is the give to Roy Finch, 5'7", 165-pound darting running back. Picks up the first down for the Sooners.
You know, pre-snap there, Notre Dame's defense was confused. Austin Collinsworth ran over late on the slot, then he bumped out. There's a bunch of, look, there's Mark Grace going, timeout? No, okay, wait a minute. Here comes the shift over here. Collinsworth was on the slot. And when you're confused pre-snap, bad things happen. But a great job by Oklahoma's 2 wide receivers stalk blocking the defensive backs from Notre Dame.
And Oklahoma already up 7-0 in business at the 19 on 1st and 10. This is Damian Williams, who did not play last week because of a coach's decision. So Brennan Clay, this year's leading rusher, got most of the action, but Damian Williams is a 1,000-yard rusher from last year.
Yeah, he's also got long speed, which is a fancy way of saying that he's really fast. And last year he had 4 carries over that went for over 65 yards. The only guy in the country to do that.
Good gain for him. 2nd down and 2.
This is an unbalanced set for Oklahoma to the wide side of the field. They only have 2 linemen to the left of the center.
And Bell is going to hand it off to Williams again. He's got the first down and more, and he is in for the touchdown.
Trey Miller, the fullback / H-back, who I think is one of the better players in the entire country, gets the key block on the edge on freshman Jalen Smith. Doesn't get a lot of them, but just enough to get the edge. Damian Williams has got great speed, and so far, Tom, great defense, but we're seeing the team speed of Oklahoma weaning out.
Shocking first couple of moments to this game as Honeycutt just gets it in. 12:15 left in the first. Oklahoma up 14-0. Reese has time for the end zone, and it's a touchdown by T.J. Jones in the back of the end zone like we saw him last week.
Really nice job kicking out. It's only 4-man pressure. Look at the pocket. It's beautiful. It allows T.J. Jones to work the back end of the goal line. He beats the defensive back cleanly that time. I think it was Colvin to the inside. It looked like the corner was anticipating help, which never arrived.
So the Irish fighting their way right back in this with a 10-play, 80-yard scoring drive. Reese to Jones, and Brisa cuts the deficit in half. With just more than 4 minutes remaining in the first quarter, after the Sooners scored a couple of quick touchdowns on the interceptions by Reese, he hits one of his favorite receivers, T.J. Jones, to make it 14-7.
You're in field goal range here.
Reese with time across the middle. Ball is up in the air again, and it's picked off by Julian Wilson. Third interception.
Can't throw that football.
For Reese.
Ronnie Stanley did a great job picking up a blitz, but man, that's 3 points off the board.
Irish were on the move before another one gets off the fingertips and back into Oklahoma's possession.
Down. The ball gets not even close to Saunders. And that's my issue again with Blake Bell. He's got to be more consistent with his accuracy.
3rd and 8 for Bell.
He's got an opportunity if he wants to take it out to Scuba up top. Man-to-man coverage. They're not going to have any help on Scuba.
Play clock gets down to 1 before they get it off. Bell in trouble, scrambles out, and he's got the first down. Close to the Irish 40, Bennett Jackson finally bringing the big QB down, and a big 3rd down play and a gain of 13 for Bell.
Yeah, there was a single high safety, meaning there was man coverage everywhere, and he looked initially, watch him look to his right. Nix gets a little push, so he steps into the pocket, and you're not going to see this kid slide. He's going to get as many yards as he can, and he's going to attack defenders. Okay, here's what you could call an inverted wishbone. It's just really the pistol formation with blockers on either side.
And Bell gives it to Damian Williams. Tries to go right up the middle. As we continue with Blake Bell on the drive here, let's send it down to Alex.
Well, Dan, his teammates call him an incredibly competitive kid, and people were very excited when he got the starting job in that locker room because of that competitiveness. Last game he played against Tulsa, and where he passed the ball like crazy, he was awarded the game ball after that. Bob Stoops told me right before this game that he has the physical presence that you guys see, and he likes the way that he throws the ball. This kid certainly has a lot of potential.
And Bell on 2nd down and 8. And the quick hit there to Trey Miller, the do-it-all back for Oklahoma, who will line up in a multiple position formations for Oklahoma. Gain of 6.
One of my favorite players in the country this year is Trey Miller. And you're talking about a kid that's 6'2", 253 pounds. He lines up with fullback, in the slot, at tight end. He's also their best special teams player. When I've talked to NFL scouts about him, you would think, okay, how much value does he have? You don't see his name show up in stat sheets, but he's got 2nd and 3rd round grades from NFL teams because of that versatility.
Big 3rd down play here for Oklahoma. 3rd and 2. Bell's going to try to pass for it, and he's going to get the first down to Jalen Saunders.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was Grace who didn't expand, but Miller took 2 defenders to the flat with him, and it was an easy one just for Saunders to sit it down. And a good drive here by Oklahoma.
And the Sooners hurry it up to the line here. Less than a minute left in the opening half. Oklahoma with a 14-7 lead. Bell still looking downfield, going to the end zone, and wide open for the touchdown is LaColton Bester.
It's interesting. I was watching our guy Scuba from the very beginning, and he ran a route in here looking for the football. When he didn't get it, very alertly, he said, no, okay, I'm going to go to the back corner of the end zone. Bennett Jackson let his eyes get in the wrong place. If you're playing man coverage, you can't be cheating. Started off to one side, comes all the way back to his left. Bennett Jackson had poor eye discipline, and Scuba took advantage.
He waited and waited and waited, and it finally paid off with another scoring strike to Scuba in front of 80,000 plus at Notre Dame Stadium. Oklahoma 21 and Notre Dame 7.
Play for Notre Dame. It's something that you have to really experience for yourself.
Playing for Oklahoma means everything, basically. It means tradition.
The Notre Dame tradition motivates me all the time.
Wow, Tommy Rees' third interception. So the Irish fighting their way right back in this.
The Sooners, Northern Oklahoma, Crimson and Cream,
Fighting Irish in South Bend, Indiana.
You show people you're worth talking about.
So if Notre Dame is going to continue its dominance in this series, they're going to have to come back to do it. The points off the turnovers, again, that is the story of the first half. All 3 touchdowns coming off the interceptions by Notre Dame that Tommy Rees threw in the opening half. And so Bob Stoops, who has a very good record when leading at the half, he's 135-9 when his teams have led at the half, including 36 consecutive wins when his team has a halftime lead. So those are the odds that Brian Kelly, Tommy Rees and company are going to have to overcome here in the second half. As Oklahoma will get the football first, Roy Finch will bring it out for the Sooners, and a good special teams play there made at about the 10-yard line. Notre Dame met in 1957. The Sooners were riding that amazing NCAA record 47-game winning streak. Late in the game, Dick Lynch took the pitch from Bob Williams, ran around the right end for the only score of the game. Less than a minute to play. Williams, who doubled as a safety on defense, picks off a pass in the end zone, sealing the victory, as Oklahoma not only had that 47-game winning streak, which still is the best standing today, it suffered its first shutout in 123 games. So Notre Dame from its own 20. And Tommy Rees to start things off on the ground with George Atkinson, and he's got great speed, one man to beat. They're not going to get him, and Atkinson is going to go the distance. Well, that's a pretty good way to start off the half if you're a Notre Dame fan, as Atkinson, who's got that blinding speed, just reeled off an 80-yard run.
Top of the show, Danny, we said that they've got to get Carlisle and Atkinson involved with their speed. And I think because of their size advantage, they're better downhill.
So just like that, Notre Dame comes out on its first play in the second half. It makes it 21-14 on George Atkinson's 80-yard scamper. Gabe Lynn of Oklahoma had no chance to catch him. And the Irish within 7. 12:30 in the third.
Up to the bench, and that's a really bad sign.
And he's taking the long walk.
I'm hoping that it's for some intravenous fluids and nothing else. That's my hope.
Just
kind of
really quickening the gait there as if to try to loosen himself up.
I'm hoping that's what it is. Get some fluids in him so he won't cramp up and right back out.
So he's joined by all sorts of Sooner personnel. He goes underneath the tunnel. And here is Trevor Knight, 6'1", 201-pounder from San Antonio. Again, the starter to start the season for Oklahoma. And he keeps it. This is what he does best, is run it. And Trevor Knight, in his very first play of the game, gets huge yardage.
Yep.
30 yards before Matthias Farley stops him.
I mean, it's a huge alert, and that was a quarterback run all the way because the backup fullback, Ripkowski, blocked the contain. Watch what happens here. Excuse me, right there at the point of attack. It's not Ripkowski, it's Millard as usual. That was quarterback keep all the way.
No surprise for a guy like Knight, who rushed for 103 yards in the opener against Louisiana Monroe.
And started warming up again, so I think we'll see him back in this game.
2nd and 5. Reese on play action. Looking downfield, and wide open is Troy Nicholas for the touchdown.
Boy, is there a bust in that Oklahoma secondary. They pull Chris Watt off the play action. Nicholas is going to line up here and just come down here and out. And what happens is the corner follows the post in. The safety doesn't come over top. There's a bust between that corner and safety. Wide open. Good job by Chris Watt, who pulled out from his backside guard position and protected Tommy Reese.
3rd touchdown catch of the season for Nicholas, and it's a big one. And Brins' extra point brings the Irish back to within 27-21. Solid drive by Notre Dame. 7 plays, 75 yards, capped off by Troy Nicholas in his latest touchdown catch. So Nicholas with the touchdown catch, and a huge game for both programs, keeping their hopes alive in the national championship race. Oklahoma unbeaten and trying to regain a foothold in a series which has been dominated by the Irish. Just into the 4th quarter, 27-21, Sooners lead it. Brins' kick into the end zone for the touchback. And Blake Bell coming back in to control the Oklahoma offense. It's time now for the Unlimited Update presented by Sprint. There is the turnover story of the first part of the game. Corey Nelson taking it in for the first time. The numbers for Blake Bell of just his first collegiate start on the road, and then the latest touchdown answer by the Irish as Troy Nicholas makes it a 6-point game with 14:10 left. So after being worked on and missing a series, Blake Bell is back in, and he passes it complete to Williams, who's close to another first down.
At some point, this Notre Dame defense has got to become aware they're being outflanked by motion. And I know if you're playing zone, you've already got people by definition outside with eyes on quarterback, but you've got to make some adjustments to that.
Williams gets it out to the 35. Still in the ball game. Again, Williams did not play against Tulsa. Suspended for the game. Coach's decision. But he's figured in prominently here, and he gets the first down and a few more after that. Senior out of San Diego, California, picks up the first down.
It was a good job by the right guard that time on big Lewis Nix. Talked about different ways to block Lewis Nix. That time he was in the gap between the center and the guard, and Bronson Irwin did a fine job on him.
Bell goes over the top here to Millard, and another example of Millard who can just do it all. Block for you, carry the ball, and catch it out of the backfield as well, or wherever position he happens to stake out at.
Yeah, he's really a talented kid. It's been an interesting game. Notre Dame dug themselves a hole with those 3 turnovers, yet Oklahoma turned around and gave them an 80-yard touchdown run, and then a busted assignment on a 30-yard reception, and we got a heck of a game going.
2nd down and 3 from the 46. Bell lets Williams do the work again, and Notre Dame with Stephon Tuitt is there to meet him.
Yeah, Tuitt beats Tyrus Thompson this time cleanly, and we haven't heard a whole lot from Stephon Tuitt, the potential All-American. Here he is right here. Nice job bench pressing Tyrus Thompson. That's what you expect to see with Stephon Tuitt. 6'6", 322-pound strength, athleticism. That's the kind of play you want to see.
3rd and 3. Atkinson riling him up on the sideline. Notre Dame looking for a big stop. Bell looking for a first down, and he's got it. And on the loose is Sterling Shepard for the end zone. Touchdown, Oklahoma.
Tight bunch set. And Notre Dame's going to bring a little pressure. What's happening? There's a tight bunch set up here. Shepard's in there. Notre Dame's coming from here. Nice job picking up the blitz and then hitting Shepard on the cross. He goes underneath Grace, who's got to force him over top of him. Grace has to see that more quickly, and Shepard flies.
And with the score 33-21, Oklahoma lining up for a two-pointer here.
Yep. They're going to put the ball in between the midpoint and the hash. And remember, the two-point conversion team has their choice of anywhere they want between the hashes.
So off of the career-long reception for Shepard. Oklahoma looking to make it a 35-21 14-point lead. Blake Bell used to this kind of situation for sure. Goes to the air, and it's complete to Shepard. So 2 more points, 35-21. Shepard on the touchdown, 54 yards, and Bell to Shepard for the 2 points to make it 35-21 with 12:24 left. Big third down play by Blake Bell to Sterling Shepard, who goes all the way to pull Oklahoma out by 14. Boy, Stoops and his troops have quieted this 80,000 plus down, haven't they?
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of them on their way out right now.
That was a timeout called.
Yep.
Stoops is like, all right,
my bad.
Now, we showed you what happened in 1957 when Notre Dame ended the Oklahoma incredible 47-game winning streak. But we just talked about the Sooners' lone victory over the Irish the year before. They were in the midst of that big winning streak. Notre Dame, despite having the Heisman winner that year, Paul Horning, who's the first Heisman Trophy winner to ever play on a losing team, as Notre Dame went 2-8 that year. They couldn't muster any offense, and the Sooners would cruise to a 40-0 victory and would go on to win another national championship, one of 3 titles won by the great Bud Wilkinson.
Oklahoma's excellent SID took me on a tour through their football facility on Tuesday, where I saw that Play Like a Champion Today sign and all the Heisman trophies. And I just love history and tradition, and these two teams, when you take a step back and realize what they've accomplished over the years, are quite something.
Bell taking a knee. Yeah, they are incredible programs, and in this day and age, it just seems like it gets tougher and tougher to win, tougher and tougher to stay consistent, and Bob Stoops has been a model of that, and that's what Brian Kelly on the other side of the field has been trying to rekindle at Notre Dame.
And I give Stoops some credit here in this day and age of the BCS and computer polls and trying to get as many points as you can to get as close as you can. I think the classy thing here is to take a knee, and that's what they're doing. I applaud that.
Well, the coaches, Notre Dame, and certainly a lot of the players as well, telling us that this was going to be the best collection of talent we could play all year. And in the end, Bob Stoops and his talented and deep, fast Sooner football team gives Notre Dame its 2nd loss of the season and its first at home after 10 straight wins here at Notre Dame Stadium. And I imagine that's what the message will be from Brian Kelly. The team got beat, turned the ball over too many times early. Can't do it against a quality team like that, as Oklahoma moves to 4-0 on the year.
When they were a good turnover team, they went to the national championship game. When they were a bad turnover team, they went 8-5 the 2 previous years. It's not that hard a formula.
So 35-21 is the final score. as the Sooners just win for the second time in this series. And the first time in 57 years. Mike Stoops, the defensive coordinator, Bob's brother, a part of another winning effort here for Oklahoma. As we send it down to Alex with Mike's brother.
Bob Stoops here, Dan. And Coach, you talked going into this game that it would be a measuring stick for you and this team, even though you came in 3-0. What did you learn about your team today?
Well, we're still growing, but we played tough. We played hard. Played all 4 quarters. You know, we lost the game really in the second half of the 4th quarter a year ago. We were determined not to let that happen again, and I'm really proud of our players. No turnovers. We played great.
You said this would be one of the most physical defensive fronts that you had played so far this year. So what did it say to you about your offensive line and your running game tonight? I'm
really proud of them. The offensive line and Trey Millard, Aaron Ripkowski, the tight ends and backs with them, they did really, they played well. You know, this is a difficult team to run the ball on, and I was really proud of how we did it and ran out the clock.
You did it with the quarterback making his first road start. How did Blake Bell handle the moment?
He couldn't have done much better other than maybe hydrate a little better. He had cramps, and we had to take him in and get him juiced up, but he was fabulous.
I know that you're focusing on one game at a time. What does it mean to you, if anything, to come in here and win a game here?
Well, it is a big measuring stick. They've done, you know, what they've done the last couple of years. They're an excellent football team. To come in and play so solid, I'm really proud of our players. And my assistant coaches did a great job having them ready.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Alex. So the Sooners do indeed bounce back from the loss last year in Norman, and do it in convincing fashion as the alma mater is played in the corner of the end zone. Blake Bell looks like he has solidified his spot as the starting quarterback for Oklahoma. And Mike, some final thoughts from you on just how far you think this Oklahoma Sooner team can go and how they stack up against some of the other elite teams that you've had a chance to look at this year.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I think we learned some things about both teams today, and I wasn't sure how good this team was. I knew how they could fly. They have elite speed, and when you have elite speed, you can compete with anybody. I just worry about whether or not they can hold up against some of the big SEC teams in the run game.
Send it back down to Alex.
So, Coach,
conference, you can go to NBCSports.com as once again the final score 35-21. Don't forget again the Irish and the Sun Devils in Dallas at AT&T Stadium. Coverage begins at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Tonight at 11:30, 10:30 Central, it's the season premiere of Saturday Night Live with host Tina Fey, musical guest Arcade Fire. Right now, stay with us on NBC Sports Network for the Notre Dame postgame show for our whole crew here. Mike Mayock and Alex Flanagan, Dan Hicksane. So long from Notre Dame Stadium. Sooners 35, Irish 21.